Welcome to another episode of the Quip and Convo segment. God sure knows how to surprise a person. My guest has been here before, and dare I say, it was a pleasant surprise to have her in the Quip and Convo segment. See you in the Quip Corner, and maybe you'll get a hint of what happened. Just to set this up, there's an adage, there's a Nigerian adage that says that what a young person will need to stand and maybe strain to see, an adult will see that sitting down because of their experience. Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
neat.
it's interesting because I hadn't heard that adage before God dropped this quip in my heart. So as a parent, as a grandparent, what would you say about this quip? I'll read it one more time.
Sure.
Being more enlightened than your parents and grandparents will never make you more experienced than they are. Take advantage of their experience. Okay?
That is such a great quip. That is so amazing because we always think that we're smarter than our parents. For a span of time in our life, we will just think that we're smarter than they are, and they're a little bit backward and they don't understand. And it takes a little bit of time before as we get older, we realize that they have so many more experiences than we do, and
Yes.
their wisdom
Mm-hmm.
will help us. They might not have gone through those exact experiences that we are going through, but they've went through life, and that is, I love that quote. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you, I mean, for instance, I know that when I was younger, I always felt I knew more than my parents. I felt always, and then it's as an adult that that switch happens, and you're like, oh, wow, mom was right. Dad knew what he was saying. But how can we help younger people get it sooner?
I would like to think that if they listen to, if they have any mentors at all, if they listen to other people at all, that they would take that advice from the people around them, that those that have lived longer usually just have a perspective that they cannot have. That idea of recognizing things before young people see it. Sometimes we will see friendships, or we will see activities that they're doing that seem to not be harmful, but we know the next step. One thing kind of always leads to another. And
Yes.
if we could encourage them to trust our ability to see a little bit further down the
Mm-hmm.
road, and recognize some of those activities that, and maybe they might actually be harmless, completely harmless,
Yes.
but
Yes.
they just kind of lead in a direction. I've used to tell my students and my children, in geometry, even one angle off, 1 degree off, eventually gets wider and wider. So you need to stay in a path that's going to lead you to success, not
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
in financial success, not
Yeah.
that's not what I'm talking about, but just success in life, in your
Yeah.
relationships and in your beliefs, and even in your health. There's
Mm-hmm.
things that we do sometimes that are not conducive to good health.
Yes,
And
agreed.
and and in the beginning, it's not a big deal, but as time goes on, it gets further and further, and it becomes a bigger deal.
Yeah. Nice, nice. Oh, thank you. I wonder though, as parents, grandparents, is there a way that we can pass this on so that it's easier to, shall I say, swallow? Because I think about young children when sometimes you're having to give them medication and you need to sweeten it up so that it goes down and they get better. So, with sharing our experiences with our children, grandchildren, is there a way parents and grandparents can, without watering it down, is there, what advice would you give about the way that is presented?
I'm thinking, building a trust with our children and our grandchildren, just that day-to-day trust that we have
Mhm.
with them. If we tell them we're going to do something and we do it,
Yes,
and if we provide for them in the best way that we can, and just that level of trust really makes a difference in the long run, that they know they can trust you, that you're not manipulating them, you're not trying to trick them into doing
yeah,
the right thing,
yeah,
that they can trust you, that
hmm,
you do have their best interest at heart,
yeah,
and that you're not going to do anything that would harm them, that they can turn to you and
yes,
listen to what you say to them. And that is not something that can happen overnight. We can't build
true,
trust overnight. It's
yeah,
something over a long, long span of time. But by the
yes,
time they start making some of those decisions on their own,
hmm,
we've had a lot of time with them to build that trust, and maybe not doing things that would trick them or
hmm,
would break a confidence that they have with you. I
yes,
notice a lot of parents, and I've been guilty of it myself, we tell our children's stories before they've had a chance to even process it sometimes. I've seen this especially in children that have been adopted. Adoptive parents will tell that child's story, and as biological parents, we can do that as well, where we're telling their story and they haven't really had a chance to tell it themselves. I don't know
mm,
if you
yeah,
understand what
yeah,
I'm meaning by
yeah,
that. And we need to keep that confidence. We don't have to
yes,
tell every mistake they've made to our
yeah,
friends,
that's true.
and that really will help build that trust with that they know that you really do have their back. And we all make mistakes, and being forgiving of the
Hmm.
mistakes that they make, that's another way to just build that trust, so that when we really have advice, that it's helpful for them and they're not feeling like we're trying to trick them or manipulate them.
Yeah, thank you. This has been enlightening at the risk of having a pun, but yes, this has been enlightening. But thank you so much for those words of wisdom, Miss Jill.
Thank you for having me today. Thank you for meeting up with me. It's always good to see you.
Likewise, likewise. Thanks again, and God bless you.
Thank you.
We can switch gears if you want. We can talk about one of my quips if you'd prefer.
We could do that. I
Okay,
could
so if you
probably.
okay, so if
I,
you tell me a topic, I'll pick a quip. Tell me a topic you'd like to talk about.
let's see. I am always able to discuss. Of course, homeschooling is a huge thing, and family, anything to do with family or grandparents, which I kind of talked about that last time.
Okay.
And so I'm not sure we would want to repeat necessarily that, but
Okay, so I have, now that you've said that, I actually have one about grandparents. Well, I have two. I'm gonna read two, and then you can choose which one you want to talk about.
okay,
Okay.
all right,
Um,
sure.
yes. So I have just as you were talking, two came to mind. The first one is it's Quip 11 from my book for teens, tweens, and 20s to win with. So one of them goes, parents always have your best interest at heart, even when they are pushing you. And the picture, if you can see the picture, it's a picture of a mama elephant pushing her calf in. Yeah.
Sure.
So so that's one option. And then the second option is being more enlightened than your parents and grandparents will never make you more experienced than they are. Take advantage of their experience. And for that one, I have a picture of a little boy with his grandma. So,
Mm-hmm.
which
We
would
could
you like
talk
to
about
talk
that
about?
one. Yeah, I like
The
that
second
last
one?
one.
Okay.
Sure.
Yes, it's always good when Miss Jill Chapman is here to share. Lots of nuggets. And for sure, the nuggets, the quip point to how we can get to our peak in life, taking advice from people around us. Remember some of the spell outs of the word peak? Okay, let me look them up because I could make them up. As an example, one is to personally empower and act kindly. And so, to her point, when we build trust with children and grandchildren, we're able to guide them to their peak by personally empowering them and acting kindly, not telling their stories before they have a chance to process and even own it. Well, I look forward to connecting with you in another episode. God bless you. Please drop your comments below and let's interact some more. Bye now.